Episode 32, scenes from the spectrum, and the Sixers haven't looked good in their last stretch of games.
Here's Ilyasova. Here's McConnell. Can he get it off? Yeah! And the Sixers win it! 7 seconds to play. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win! Yes!
Boy, oh boy, did we see an interesting game last night against the Dallas Mavericks? Oof, just a tough one. Turned into a blowout, which turned into a 4-point game, and then back to a blowout, and then back to a 5. We had two insane fake comebacks in one game. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Tony, how you doing today?
Can't complain. Like just got out of class. But here we are recording. How are you?
I'm good. Graham couldn't be here today. He's out and about all weekend. Couldn't make it. So just me and Tony today, just like it was 2 weeks ago, I think it was.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Let's hit the headline music. Run down our headlines for today's episode. Sixers are 1-4 since their tough schedule began. They split with Miami, obviously lost to Boston last weekend, and lost to the Dallas Mavericks, who had a historic night last night. Sixers take on the Bucks tomorrow night for an Eastern Conference rivalry matchup. And what can the Sixers team do to get the best out of their bench? Because obviously we've had the struggles of the bench and George Niang lately. So let's get right into it. I want to start off with the two Miami Heat games and the split with them. Embiid played the first game and missed that second game. It was Wednesday night,
Yep.
the first game to a back-to-back. But that was a Monday night game.
Yeah, Monday. Yep.
It's March now, but in February/March, why are we still talking about effort problems and kind of the energy issues with this team? You go into it's a home game versus the Miami Heat versus Jimmy Butler, and you come out flat, and you just get beat. I mean, the Miami Heat are might be the worst 3-point shooting team in the league.
Horrible.
And you just let them rain threes on you. I mean, come on. I wrote about it on phillysportstoday.net that we're in February, March. Why is there an effort problem? You know, we're supposed to be a championship contending team, and you can't be a championship contending team if we're in March talking about effort problems. I mean, come on. And you saw it a little bit on Wednesday against Miami, but they squeaked that win out. Or no, they didn't squeak that win out. That was kind of a blowout. That was an awesome.
They blew them
game.
out. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that Miami split little series?
Before we even get into the games themselves, I think it says a lot that we are still kind of struggling with teams like the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like last year, years prior, they were the 1 seed last year, I think.
Or was that 2 years ago? No, that was 2 years ago because that was the year we played the Hawks in the playoffs. We were I forget what seed we were last year.
I thought we were.
Here, you talk it.
Regardless.
You talk it. I'll look it up.
Regardless, I mean, the Heat, they're not doing too well in terms of standings, if I'm not mistaken, this year. They're not really one of the teams you talk about being a title contender or even an Eastern Conference Finals contender.
We were the 4 seed last year.
The 4 seed last year, so they would have been the 1 then. Yes, they would have been the 1 second round. But I mean, Kyle Lowry's kind of out of the rotation. I mean, you got Jimmy and Bam, which they're all right. Obviously, they're fine. They beat us Monday, but it says a lot that this Sixers team is still struggling with teams like the Miami Heat, who aren't really probably won't be doing much.
Let's just put it like how it is. The Miami Heat are not
They're not
a
good
basketball team.
They're not
good
good.
every other year, but this year they're just
and to be fair, they do wake up to play us. I don't understand why we can't do the same. But it is a little concerning that we're still having these conversations in 2023, and especially in March of 2023.
Yeah, a guy I want to talk about real quick is Georges Niang. He's played just pathetic lately.
It's hard to watch.
Obviously, he's not known as a good defender. He's known as a bad defender, and he's a guy that you need on your team to just chuck up threes and hit them. And he hasn't been doing that. I'm pretty sure he's won for his last 11 taken threes,
Seems
which
about
is
right, honestly. Yeah.
just it's just pathetic. You can't play him. And on Wednesday night, he got a DMP coach's decision, which was a great job by Doc Rivers, and he put Daniel House Jr. in the game. Daniel House has not had a shot all year, but
Oh.
at least he brings the defense. I mean, that's more than Georges Niang is giving
That's
you.
fair.
If
That's fair.
Niang isn't giving you anything, you just got to bench him.
That's fair.
They did play him last night against the Mavericks. I don't know why you would play him against the Mavericks.
He didn't look too good last
The
night
Mavs are
either,
just
but
killing you offensively, and you just, hey, our worst defender, yeah, Georges Niang, go on the floor. That makes no sense. But he was with that squad that went on that 9-0 run in the beginning of the fourth quarter. So, yeah, there's really not that much to talk about with the Miami series. I mean, if we had a playoff matchup against them, we would beat them in 4 or 5 games. They don't worry me at all. They are not a good team. We would murder them in the playoffs.
Do you think there's any substance to the fact that it seems like we can beat the Heat without Embiid/Harden? I mean, I know Harden played Wednesday, but I mean, playing Monday to playing Wednesday, it seemed like two completely different games.
I mean, you got to look at
about that.
The game, and Tyrese Maxey was a big reason why we won that game.
Oh, he was hooping Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Absolutely, he was hooping.
We were talking about a little bit what's going on with Maxey. He isn't performing, and he actually did start performing on Wednesday night and last night against the Mavericks. He's played pretty well, and he got himself back into the starting lineup, which I think the starting lineup should be a game to game decision, because if you're going against an offensive powerhouse like the Dallas Mavericks, I think you should throw D'Anthony Melton in there.
I would agree.
To cover their best offensive player. But if you're going against a bad offensive team like the Miami Heat, Maxey should start. So I think it should be a game to game thing. We still haven't seen that third starting lineup that Doc Rivers was talking about. So we'll see about that. But let's get into the kind of the elephant in the room and the Dallas Mavericks and how we just that was the weirdest, got to be one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. Tony, give me your reactions. Your first reaction.
Oh man. Like you said, changed the starting lineup. Maxey was back. I do have questions whether we should be deploying that lineup when we've got two of the best ball handlers, creators, in the league on the same court. Got Luka, Kyrie, and obviously Harden and Maxey aren't too defensively talented per se. But through the first half, I didn't have any complaints. I thought the defense could have been improved a little bit. I think we were down 4.
Yeah, 4. We were down 4 at half, and
then the third quarter started, and it felt like you blinked, and we were down 20. They were hitting shots. I had Embiid to get a double-double yesterday. I know we're not talking about betting, but throughout the second half, I mean, on the Mavs' offensive possessions, it'd either be a long rebound or they just hit 60% of their threes. So I mean, when they're doing that, there's really not much you can do.
Yeah, one thing I see is Embiid is pretty lazy on defensive rebounds at times.
And I know he doesn't get rebounds like that.
He should.
Exactly. He should.
He should.
Yesterday it looked really bad. It looked really bad. And I'm sure he'd tell you that too. But
yeah, you look at that third quarter and it's like, what can you do?
They wouldn't miss. They were not missing.
Sure, our defense wasn't that good, but they were making threes from Narnia.
And they had a good offensive game plan. Embiid wasn't in the in the paint like at all, really. And in the second half, they were using him in a lot of pick and rolls to keep him out of the paint, and then. But offensively, I mean, I was looking at it a few days ago. The Mavs had like the worst paint defense by far over the last 10 or so games since
They
Kyrie's
have
been there.
one of the worst defenses in the league.
Worse, I think the Spurs have the worst interior defense this season. They're getting outscored by like 20 in terms of that. Like they were allowing like 70 points in the paint per game. Like,
yeah,
I would have liked to see more Embiid in the post. He had like close to 30. I'm not gonna
I think
complain
he had
too much.
32.
I mean, yeah, and
he had 35.
35. Oh,
He
that's
had 35.
more than I thought. It would have been nice to see him in the paint a little more. I mean, I know he was getting his, but you gotta get the players in foul trouble. You gotta slow the pace a little bit. I don't know. I'll let you go. I've been talking a lot.
The Mavericks had 25 3-pointers, which was 4 shy of the NBA record. I think is held by the Milwaukee Bucks. A couple years ago, they had 29 threes in a game. The Mavs have 25 threes.
25 felt low. I'm not gonna lie.
It was 52% shooting from 3. That's 25 threes on 52% shooting from behind the arc. That is just
it can't happen. It shouldn't happen. But
there's what
excuse.
can you do? Nothing. They had 25 threes on 52%. That's like, I don't think people understand how insane that is.
I think in the third they went like 9
they had
or
the
11
most
maybe. Like
it was
threes
they had
insane.
in a quarter for like a long time.
But
But you finally saw Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic hit their stride, which they haven't had that. I mean, I guess this would be their really first game where you're like, wow, this team is like that good. And of course, it had to happen against us.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are a very good team. Their ball movement, their shot making ability, just everything within that offense is perfect.
At least it looked perfect yesterday.
Yeah. The one complaint I had defensively is, especially in the third quarter, if they're killing you so bad behind the 3-point line, why do you keep collapsing when somebody's driving into the paint? It happens so many times where our defense just collapsed, wide open kick out to the corner, open 3. I think Reggie Bullock had like 5 threes.
Reggie Bullock was
in that
pissing me
third
off.
quarter.
Oh my God.
He had an insane amount of threes in that third quarter, but I just, what can you do? There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, except play a little better defense. But at that point, it's just like
it felt like it was an effort thing last night. And you brought it up with Embiid. I think it was the whole. It seemed more like the whole team. That wasn't just Embiid. I mean, you got you guys like Maxey. Obviously, he's gonna come out every night and just ball. But it just, and I get it. It's only March. But I mean, what's gonna happen when we get to April? May. We're in these games. I mean, this is what, like 20 games left. Like this is where you got to start gearing up towards the playoff run. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
looking to see it.
Yeah, hopefully we see a more kind of improved team with energy and effort come Saturday or tomorrow night against the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, you got to win that game. Yeah, you just got to win that game. That helps so much for momentum. Yes, they've won. I think it's 16 straight now, which is insane. I don't know when the last time we saw a winning streak like that. Except, I mean, I think the last one that comes to mind is the Sixers in that 2017, 2018 season where they
I
won,
know,
like,
I know what you're talking
where they
about.
won like
without Embiid. It was Ben leading the charge.
Was it like 16 straight games won? It was an insane amount of games at the end of the season there, but you need momentum. I mean, I in kind of every sport, really, you just got to get hot at the right time. And this is kind of that time. You got to get hot and you got to stay hot for the next few months. I mean, we've seen it already this season. I hope
we saw it in December. Yeah,
I hope we didn't peak. I was listening to the Low Post. It's a
Zach Lowe.
podcast with Zach Lowe, and he had Doris Burke on, and Doris Burke was talking about how she loves his Philly team, and there's times where they click, and it's like they have it, but there's times where they just don't have it, and people look lazy, and you have pathetic turnovers, and you're playing bad defense, and sometimes Embiid doesn't even have it. And that's what's so scary about this team, and why a lot of people have such a hard time trusting this team to say, yeah, they're going to go and win it all. I mean, when they're clicking, when they're looking good, they are arguably the best team in the NBA. I will say that without a doubt. But there's too many times where this team is not clicking, and that cannot happen. You look at the Boston Celtics, and they're always clicking. That team is deep. That team is very good.
Absolutely.
And I think we could beat them in a 7-game series if we're clicking, if we're on a roll. But it's tough. It's hard to trust this team, especially when they're playing like this, going in the playoffs. I really wanted to win that game last night. I really
should have won the game.
Yeah, we absolutely should have. If it wasn't for the Mavericks,
the greatest team of all time.
But obviously, it was a good first half, but I want to kind of narrow down in on the second half, or more specifically, that fourth quarter. There's one thing I wanted to say about the first half. Paul Reed, I think, had 3 fouls pretty quickly, and Doc Rivers took him out and put in Montrezl Harrell, which you haven't seen Montrezl Harrell in weeks. I hate that decision. I hate it.
It was horrible.
Paul Reed's going to play, what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes in the game, and you're taking him out because of foul trouble? Dude, let him foul out for all I care. I mean, he's going to play 10 minutes. Who cares if he's got 3 fouls in the second quarter? I mean, come on. Do you have any thought on that or no?
I have not seen Dwayne Dedmon even play a minute yet. I've missed a few games.
Hurt.
I will say that.
He's still hurt.
Oh, he's still hurt? Okay,
yeah,
fair.
He's still hurt. Which, why the hell? Why are we signing this guy if he's hurt? There's no else on the buyout market. He was bought out before the deadline, so he can play in the playoffs.
Pick him.
Why is Dwayne Dedmon, who hasn't even suited up for this team, still on this roster? I don't know, Daryl Morey. You confuse me, man.
Brutal. But getting into you mentioned Paul Reed picking up 3 fouls. McDaniels picked up like 4.
It was
2 minutes in the fourth last night.
It was 4. And,
I love McDaniels. I think he can be really good on this team. It's very clear we haven't necessarily figured out a cemented role for him. Yeah, I agree. I would like to see him a little more. I mean, you talk about the playoffs. You got like 6-7 man rotations. I'd like to see him in there. But like you said, he's got to get acclimated. Fixed center. That's still very clearly an issue. But I liked what I saw in the fourth quarter. You kind of alluded to it a little bit. It was mostly Maxey coming back. Was it? I mean, we're talking like the Sixers just laid down in the second half completely, which they didn't. They did come back in the fourth. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was opening. It was a fourth quarter opening lineup of Tyrese Maxey, Shake Milton, Jalen McDaniels, George Niang, and Paul Reed. It was that lineup. I feel like McDaniels and Reed are very good together because they're just so athletic and their wingspan is insane. McDaniels is one of the best closeout defenders in the league, I would say.
He was D'ing Luka up. Pause. He was D'ing Luka up. But, I mean, Luka was hitting some incredible shots. Like, it wasn't lack of defense on his part. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Speaking about McDaniels, I want to go off track for just 2 seconds to speak on a player who's not on the team anymore. No, listen. There comes a time where the hammer needs to be laid down.
No, I agree. I know where you're going with this. So yeah.
Sixers fans, Matisse Thybulle is not on the team anymore. He was never good on this team. He's a big reason why we lost Game 7 versus the Atlanta Hawks. He fouled Kevin Huerter for a 3-pointer. He was not good. You wanted to cry every time he stepped on the floor this year. Why are you crying now that he's on a different team and hitting threes. I mean, he has a bigger.
He has a
he
bigger.
has a-
He's
he has
starting.
a-
He's starting on
he's
that team in
starting. He has a
Portland.
bigger role. He's getting
Getting more
he's
shots.
getting playing time,
opportunity,
consistent playing time, and he's just I don't know if you even watch the games, but they're all wide open threes from the corner.
They are very wide.
It's a good
They
spot.
are very wide open.
Come on.
I will say that.
He was bad here. He was nothing but bad. Made sure he had his shiny moments, but come on. Can we stop talking about Matisse Thybulle and get your Matisse Thybulle profile pictures out of here, please? God, it's so annoying. Everybody's like, "Oh, Daryl Morey, why did you send Matisse Thybulle away?" Like, he was bad. Like, sorry. We're not paying him in the offseason.
I did tweet about it.
Yeah, I tweeted about it, like
I
12
tweeted
times.
about it. It's not. I didn't like. I mean, obviously, I didn't like Matisse here outside of his rookie year. Really, he was good. Obviously, I'm glad he's in a new, scenario. Seems like he's playing well. Clearly, my emphasis isn't really on him necessarily being good now, but it just feels like whenever someone either comes here to Philly or leaves Philly, it seems like we get players that aren't playing to their best in Philly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was harping on. I think I said something along the lines of like, what's going on in Philly, because he was in the screenshot you're talking about, he was like 5 for 6 or 5 for 7 from
It was
three.
career high. It was career high.
Yeah, it was career high. 15 points might be his career high.
Like,
Like
dude,
in
if you
Philly.
If you want to go out and shoot 7 threes, I don't care.
He's not gonna do that
on my
every
team
night.
anymore. Can we stop talking about him? And people are coming at me like, dude, you hate Matisse. I love Matisse.
He was great. He's a great guy.
I love him. He's an awesome person.
Yeah.
I would watch all his bubble vlogs when that was a fun time. But I love Matisse Thybulle. He just doesn't fit with this team, and I know how to separate the person from the player I see on the court. Like, come on. It's pathetic. You guys I tweeted this the other day. You guys just look stupid. You look stupid. He didn't fit with this team, and it was very clear. And you're crying when he's chucking up 7 threes a game in Portland. Like, go be a Portland fan. I don't care. Just stop bringing it here.
I mean, you can be a Thybulle fan. Just don't let it interfere with what we got going on here.
No, it's just so annoying. Everyone wants to get on Daryl for it. Like,
I'll get on.
I like Jalen McDaniels a lot better. Sorry,
I won't get on Daryl actually. But it's the same thing with the Isaiah Joe thing, the Charles Bassey thing.
The Isaiah
Joe,
I'd
little
say
different.
I would say the Isaiah Joe is a
Doc.
different thing.
Yeah,
cutting Isaiah Joe was
I still.
It was a bad decision.
I still can't believe he did it.
All the OKC fans love him, and
I don't blame. I love him. I'm glad he's balling out.
It hurts to see. It just hurts to see. Let's talk about the fourth quarter. I mean, we talked a little bit about fourth. Sorry, I had to go on a little rant there.
You're fine.
I had to go on a little rant there, but let's get back down to the Mavericks game in the fourth quarter. And one thing I wanted to talk about is why did Joel Embiid look so gassed down the stretch of the fourth quarter? You just had like a 10-minute break. You didn't even play in the first back-to-back game against the Heat. Why do you look like the most gassed player on the court? I mean, come on, dude. Do we really need to have a talk again about being in shape? Because I don't want to have this talk again.
Do you have like any? What do you think it is? Like, what do you think he was so tired?
I don't know. He just looked gassed. I mean, how many minutes did he play? He played. Actually, don't know. It's not showing up here. Oh, he actually played 35 minutes, which, it was the second most on the team behind James Harden, 38 minutes, which he looked fine. But come on, get back. Like, I'm not even saying like get in shape because you're obviously in shape, but like, you can't just be looking so tired on the floor. Teams will take advantage of that.
Yeah. I want to say it's just like a one-off, like just wasn't feeling it this game.
I hope. I mean, they didn't get to Dallas until like late, like the night before.
Okay, yeah, so I'll chalk it up as one of those. If we see it, actually no, I don't think we'll see it Saturday either, honestly.
No,
If you start seeing like a string of those games, I'd say maybe it's cause for concern. But
listen, I know how I've like gotten accustomed of how Joel Embiid works now. On big games,
he'll show up.
super big games, he'll
He's
absolutely
gonna
show
show
up.
up. He will. I put my life on it. He'll show up. He's gonna show up Saturday. He loves playing versus Giannis. He loves playing versus obviously the
I'm
Nets, KD. Like he's gonna show up.
every
show up
game
Saturday.
where I'm like, yep, this is the Embiid, he's gonna show up game. I'm absolutely taking his over
Oh yeah.
points
Oh, yeah.
every single time.
Absolutely.
Every single time. But Harden had a great game last night, except for the fourth quarter, which we'll talk about. He had 15 points in the first quarter on 100% shooting. I
He's
think
going
he hit
crazy.
3 threes or 4
Sounds
threes
about
in
right.
that first quarter, but that stretch, I think there was a few minutes left in the fourth quarter. He had 2 straight turnovers, or you kind of throw your hands up and you're like, that was just stupid. That was stupid. There was a couple things that costed us that game last night. It was Maxey not knowing what to do with the ball in his hands. I think there was like 40 seconds left. And he chucked up a really bad shot. There's the Harden 2. I think it might have been more than 2, but 2 that I remember, just bad turnovers. It was Doc Rivers waiting so long to put Embiid back in the game. It was a 5-point game, and you still didn't put him in the game. That's on you, Doc. That is completely on you. You have a guy that has the ability to take over any game he wants, and you let the Mavericks go on a run, and then you're like, oh, wait, I have Joel Embiid on my bench. We need better
a better
coaching
coach.
than that. We need
Sam
a better
Cassell,
coach.
man. We need Sam Cassell so
we need
bad.
a better coach. What did you think about the fourth quarter? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people have different opinions on it.
You could make the argument that they played better without Embiid and Harden on the floor. More so Embiid, kinda. Especially in the fourth. But yeah, you mentioned like the Harden turnovers. Those just floored me. Like it's like his 13th, 14th year in the league. Like you can't keep doing this type of stuff. Like we're not gonna go anywhere in the playoffs if we're gonna be playing like that down the stretch.
Yeah.
I think the fourth quarter is kind of the story of the Sixers season so far. You see a lot of really good, but the really bad is the stuff that you can't really over.
They actually lead the league in, I think it's 15-point comebacks, if I'm not mistaken.
I can believe that.
It's something like that, but like I've heard it a few times over the past like few weeks that they lead the league in like a certain amount of point comebacks, which is awesome.
It's a good stat. Yeah, it's a good stat, but it also
we're still blowing leads.
Yeah, it shows
but at least we're coming
how
back.
much we're in those deficits.
Yeah, I mean,
good teams.
Listen, when it really comes down to the stretch in the third and fourth quarter, I don't question their effort at all. It's that first half effort that I mean, even like rarely a couple games you'll see like a pathetic second half effort, but like there really hasn't been a time where I've questioned our effort in the third and fourth quarter. This team just flips a switch, and why isn't that switch on the whole game?
It would be nice to see a full, offense at 100, defense on 100 game,
And there's a specific guy on this team that can flip the switch on whenever he wants, but why isn't the switch on the entire game? Why wasn't your switch on for the first 3 quarters of the game? And that's Tyrese Maxey. You saw it against Miami, and you saw it last night. Just have the switch on like the entire game. You know what I'm saying? Like
it would be nice.
It would. Be
I think we'll see a little more of that because it seems like I'd hope he'll be at least with the starters a little more, starting a little more. Obviously, we'll see what Doc has to do with the lineups. Like you said earlier, I do want to see that third lineup. I want to see that 3-guard lineup. Because I think that will do some damage. That is going to do some damage. But Max, I think it's a confidence thing for Maxey right now. And I think he'll be getting it back. Games like tonight, games like Wednesday, or not tonight, last night, games like Wednesday. Obviously going to help. Because you saw the stretch before the All-Star break, averaging I don't know offhand. I'd say like 14-ish points coming off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna need more. He's expected to be the third guy, even off the bench.
Yeah.
We're gonna need the scoring. So.
There's really two things that I've kept saying this year that is going to become such a huge weapon in our playoff run this year. Obviously, Embiid. And Embiid, I'm not like that. That wasn't one of my points, but obviously, Embiid's going to do his thing in the playoffs. He's going to dominate. The two things that I think are the biggest weapons for the Sixers in the playoff run is one, James Harden's quick first step. Him getting that back is just extraordinary from the injury that he had. He's been beating high level defenders off the dribble. He's looked fantastic on that first step. And the other one is Tyrese Maxey and how aggressive he is. And I feel like I hate going in the playoffs and being like, oh my God, is this guy going to be aggressive? It's the same conversation we had with Ben Simmons. Obviously, this isn't Ben Simmons or nowhere near this situation, but like have that switch on the entire game. And hopefully we'll see that in the playoffs. I don't know.
You talked about James Harden, obviously. How did you, or going back to the game last night, how did you feel about his second half? Because first half, I'd give him an A+. Like that first quarter was insane. I think he had like nine assists, and it was like 13.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about the second half, when you ask me about the second half of James Harden, I'm mostly thinking about the stupid turnovers he had in the fourth quarter, which that was a reason why we lost the game, or one of the many reasons why we lost the game. But I don't know. He had an okay second half. He had a couple shots, got to the bucket a few times. I mean, there's not much I really was going to ask for him when it's like a 20-something point blowout and the Mavericks team is hitting every single three. They could, do a 360 in the air, eyes closed three, and it would still go in. So there's not much I can ask.
That's fair.
Is that all we have on the Mavs game? Do we have anything else to talk about? I mean, oh, okay. Wait, there's one thing I actually want to talk about. Doc, actually, there's two things I want to talk about. One, I'll never praise Doc again because when I praise Doc, he disappoints me. Last night, right before the game, I praised Doc and said he's done a phenomenal job with putting players in the right places, like for lineup wise, and that was setting Montrezl Harrell for Paul Reed, giving Georges Niang his first DMP in a Sixers uniform, and getting Maxey back into the starting lineup. I praised him for it, and then he obviously just disappointed me last night. But the second thing, I forgot what the second thing was. It was Niang. Niang took 1-3, he missed it, and Doc took him right out, and that's exactly what you need to do. You have to have Niang on a very short leash.
Oh, absolutely.
If he's not hitting the shot, yank him off the floor. I do not care. Put in Daniel House. Just whoever. I literally don't care. Just not Niang if he's not hitting his shots. But that's the last 2 points I wanted to make about last night.
Yeah. I wasn't really watching the game with a huge coaching emphasis. I didn't really think you could put a lot of the game yesterday on Doc. Obviously that hasn't been the case previously over his course here. In a lot of games you can pin on Doc. But yeah, I can understand not praising him. I know I won't be.
It's just frustrating because obviously
the
Mavericks go on that huge run and you get it back to like a 4-point game and
you gotta capitalize.
Like you just don't like make the right decisions as Doc. You didn't make the right decisions last night, and that costed you. It just ultimately costed you. You can go back to what you were saying.
Oh no, that was
it.
Did you want to preview the Bucks game tomorrow? I guess.
Listen, the Bucks are on a 16-game winning streak. If we lose, we lose. I would hate to lose. If we go out like fighting and we lose, it's whatever. But I really want to win tomorrow. I'm thinking we get a nice. This is what I'm looking for. We get a nice Niang Niang game. You get a nice Maxey game. We get a legendary Embiid game.
You
That's what I
think
need.
you think we're gonna see Niang on it, Giannis like we saw last year?
That was an insane 400 IQ move by Doc Rivers last year.
Was that the game before the All-Star break?
Yep, it was a game right before All-Star break. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to
dude,
see it again. I want to see it again.
Yeah, you might have
I just
just
wanna see if he's
convinced
got
me
it
to watch
again.
that game again.
Oh.
Yeah, but I just want to beat him. Slow down. I mean, you really can't slow down Giannis, but do the best that you can. I would say PJ Tucker's probably going to be on Giannis tomorrow.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know. I really don't know what to think about tomorrow. I really don't. But that's really all I have. If you have anything else for tomorrow's game.
Would you gun to your head, do we win or lose tomorrow?
Oh, gun to my head. I'm biased, so win. But I think we can. I really think there's a shot. I mean, they are a very
earlier this
beatable
season
team.
at all?
Oh, we didn't beat them in the home opener. I know that.
Oh,
we lost the home opener to
we
them.
play them at all?
But we played
that-
them a second
Since
time.
this season?
I'm pretty sure we played them twice already this year.
We won.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah, 32-11 and 8 from Embiid.
That was Laddergate when
Oh
when
my
Giannis
gosh!
was throwing the
I forgot
ladder
that
away
game
from
even
the
happened.
workers.
Oh my gosh!
Fake humble.
Fake humble. Was anyone missing from that game?
I don't think so. I think we were actually.
Might have been
the game that Maxey got hurt, or no?
Hold on. I'm taking a look. Why was Daniel House starting that game? Oh my lord.
We definitely had injuries then.
Yeah, there were. Harris didn't play, nor
it's either Harden
nor Harden.
Yeah.
No, Maxey started.
Damn, we won that game with no Harden and Daniel
no Harden,
no
Harden, no Harris, and we had Daniel.
I mean,
House
no Harris
starting.
is whatever. I could deal without Harris literally any time of the week. But listen, this is completely off topic, but there's one thing I want to talk about here.
Okay.
This is a completely different sport. And I'm just gonna bring up my screen here real quick, and I just want to. This is gonna be the most frustrating thing I've seen in a while. You know what this is right away.
Oh no.
This is
oh no.
This is the New York Rangers fans.
This is so nasty.
That's pathetic. That's pathetic. And I know we really don't talk Flyers on here too much, but wow, what a kind of an FU to the ownership there and the whole front office for not putting together a competent team for the Flyers.
Do you want to just describe that for the audio listeners? You're not.
Oh yeah, it was. Sorry. Oh, was my sound not on?
No,
I wasn't sharing my sound, but it was a home game against the Rangers, and the New York Rangers absolutely took over the Wells Fargo Center, which it's disgusting. I hate the Flyers right now, but
I think a lot.
And I wish the worst for them for years ahead.
Yeah.
But that cannot happen.
It doesn't reflect Philly very well. No.
That is not something that happens in Philly. That is absolutely not something that happens. That cannot happen again. I just gotta put it.
It shouldn't. I can't say I.
It probably will happen again.
It will. It'll happen at more Flyers games.
That's just like the fault of the front office. I mean, we are not
give us a competent
I can't believe we're talking Flyers right now, but you had a chance to sign one of the best players in the league, or I wouldn't say one of them, probably top 15, and Johnny
It would have made the team better, yeah.
But no, you suck. You just suck, and you don't know how to tank properly. I don't know what else to say. But I think that's all we have for today. Tony, you have anything else?
Go Phils. Spring training.
Spring training is starting back up.
Cannot wait.
Andrew Painter looks good. All the boys look good. Trey Turner, everybody. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Oh, just this bit of a tangent. Everyone regarding Philly sports wants to talk about, the Eagles Super Bowl loss, Phillies World Series loss,
Philadelphia
a
Union.
union, I don't even what is it? What I don't even know what it's called. There is just a finals loss. Um,
The cup. I don't know.
yeah, I can't say I'm a big MLS guy.
Oh wait, I think like it's like the Shields Cup or
Is
something.
it? Regardless, if you're looking it up, fair.
It's It is. Oh, it's just called the MLS Cup.
Okay, lame. Speaking of which, you talk about all those happening to Philly. We'll say, oh yeah, the Sixers. What happened to them too?
I put it. Listen,
I pray with my entire life that the Sixers make the If the Sixers make the finals, I'll be the happiest person on earth.
listen.
They don't even have to win.
If the Sixers win the finals, the Phillies doesn't have to win anything forever. I don't care. I just need one final. No. This Sixers finals win would mean more to me than Eagles.
A finals win, fair.
Than Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Union times 1,000,000. All right, the Sixers would mean a lot more.
Just making the final, like
why are we
making? I don't think people understand.
I think we're the first city to lose 3 major championships in like 6
Oh yeah, no, we were the first to do it on a
first
on a single day.
Oh my God, it was the same day. It was literally the same day we lost 2 championships.
It cannot get any worse for the Sixers or for Philly sports.
And I mean, except the Phillies and with the Union and the Eagles, it was right in front of us. With the Union,
Sixers are playing with house
with
money.
the Union, we took the lead with like a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
With the Eagles, we had what, like a 10-point lead at half?
10 points at half, yeah.
Yeah.
10 points at half.
Nobody hates this city more than I do.
Yeah, we're not gonna get into that. But
it's a love-hate relationship.
Just know,
yeah,
real Philly fans know if the Sixers even get to the Eastern Conference Finals,
I'll take that as a win.
That's a win. that is my Super Bowl.
If we get out of the
Eastern
second
Conference
round, I can finally say MB got out of the second round. So I mean, we'll see. We're either playing the Bucks or the Celtics in the second round, and I'll gouge my eyes out. But that's really all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching this episode 32 of Scenes from the Spectrum, Rough Schedule Stretch Edition. Make sure to follow our socials at SFTS Podcast. There's an underscore right in that bottom left.
Right, new here. Not usually.
There's an underscore in the Instagram name. We're posting on TikTok. We're posting everywhere. Thank you, Tony, for stepping into Graham's role today. We appreciate you and have a good rest of your day, everybody. We should have an episode out probably sometime after the Bucks game, like a day or two after the Bucks game. So, see ya.
See ya.